And it's natural. There are certain challenges. The European trends are intertwined with the Ukrainian challenges. I've already mentioned about liberalization. I've mentioned about the development of the competitive environment. We've got more severe ecological, environmental requirements, both within the country and when we bring our goods to the European Union. We say that the most important milestone in our development will be the integration with the European energy system. We are speaking that the renewables, the nuclear energy, the hydro, is becoming the base for the energy production in the country. And it's so important for us to provide our future, our strategy, our plans through those trends and to be permanently in the global agenda about the energy sector and altogether in the development of economy. Our expectations about the electrical energy consumption in the country. The annual growth, average annual growth is 1.3%, so we can see that up to 2030 the consumption of electrical energy in the country will grow by about 14%. The drivers of the growth will be industry and the communal and housing services, as I've already mentioned, electrification and the electrical energy consumption as the main energy product will further grow. Still, the energy efficiency is becoming one of the very most important indicators, which is stopping the growth, so we will save electrical energy and use the technologies for that. The consumption by the population, as we can assume, will stay at the same level. And again, those are diverse trends. On the one hand, the consumption will grow. As for the services and the products and technologies, on the other hand, there will be more opportunities to manage this consumption and to save electrical energy. This amount of consumption will be provided by the producers of electrical energy which we can find today at the market. But I consider that this picture is very demonstrative. Our assumptions, our calculations witness that up to 2030 will have more than 2.5 times increase of the production of electrical energy through the renewables. The capacity of the green generation in Ukraine will achieve 13 gigawatt, and in 2030 it will be comparable to the capacity of the nuclear power stations. We can see that during the next 10 years the nuclear electrical energy will be the basic for our country. And the share of the production, 57% in 2030. And of course, it's a huge challenge for our state and the government, how we can see the future of Energoatom and the extension of life of our nuclear power blocks. As I've already mentioned, the role of the coal generation will be changing, as well as of the thermal power plants. We can consider that there will be the incredible decrease, but still, the thermal power plants will play a very significant role in the maneuvering, in the support of the growth of green generation we are speaking about, and in the provision of the reserve of capacities. We do not see big changes and shifts in the production of electrical energy, of hydro power stations and also pump storage power plants. The share of the market is changing because of the introduction of new capacities, but there won't be any dramatic changes. This is the picture which we can see in the production of electrical energy. Which are the main events in the energy sector during the next 10 years, which define the development of the energy companies? As I've already mentioned, for the DTEK company and altogether for the players of the market of electrical energy in the country, the implementation of the new model of the energy market was the same dramatic change as the new opportunities of green generation or digitalization. We were waiting for very long for our country to have a competitive market. We were not that comfortable when there was unfair naming of DTEK as a monopolist in the thermal generation. Today, this monopoly does not exist, and no one can say that DTEK is a monopolist, because we have the open market, because we have the opportunity to create direct relationship with the consumer, and the most important thing, the consumer has the opportunity to choose where to buy electrical energy from. Yes, not all of the segments of the market are so far working. Yes, we've got lots of complications during the year. Yes, we had the incredible interference of the regulator into the new market, and still we have those restrictions which do not allow this market to work to the full scale. But this is the huge step forward for the reconstruction of our energy sector, for the creation of the high-quality, different relationship between the producers and the consumers of the electrical energy. I've already mentioned about the liberalization at the gas market, when the households have an opportunity to choose the consumer of gas, the supplier of gas, the tariff plans, the pricing, which they're ready to pay for the gas. And I do hope, and we've presented here, that in 2023 we'll have as well the full liberalization at the electrical energy market, when all of the consumers, both households and industrial consumers, will be under the conditions of the competitive market. 2021 is important, and that is our hope and expectation, that the government will be able to launch a different form of incentivization for the development of green generation, the transition to the auction model from the green tariff to the auctions. We welcome that. We consider that the system of support which used to be during the previous years, the support of the development of green generation, has played its role, its significant role. It allowed the billions of investments to be invested into the green generation, to attract the biggest Western investors, the international funds, banks, and to make a huge leap forward in the development of green generation. But taking into consideration the changes which are ongoing, it would be fair, as for the consumer, to come to the more competitive model of the support of green generation, the green auctions. And I think that in the nearest future, the green generation, taking into consideration the technologies, the development and the experience, and the price of the capital, that's what's important for Ukraine, and we will be speaking about that as well, it should be comparable with our colleagues in Europe. All of those factors will allow green generation to compete at the open market, together with other types of generation which exist in Ukraine. RAB regulation is what the Ukrainian market has been waiting for a very long time. That's a new system, a stimulating, incentivizing system of rate-making for our grid companies. We welcome the fact that since the 1st of January, our companies, the operators of distribution, will be working in a totally different tariff environment that will allow to increase the investments times and times. It will help to dramatically decrease and reduce the time of the delays and stoppages of electrical supply the reliability of electric supply. It will become a very important factor, and rather quickly it will be improving, which will allow to reduce the losses, and of course we welcome such reforms. But, however, this is the first step, and we do hope that the reform of the rate-making and pricing for the grid networks will be approximating to the European standards. And we will be in the similar rules of the game with our colleagues, European colleagues, who are working according to this system in the majority of countries. 2023, synchronization with the ENTSO-E, European energy markets. All of the years of the work of DTEK, we've supported the strategic decision of the state to synchronize our energy systems. The first step was the Burштyn Island, and today there are all of the reasons to believe that, first of all, Ukrenergo, as the leader of this process, can provide those obligations which we've taken in front of our European partners and to synchronize our energy system, which will give a huge impulse to the development of the energy sector in the country. It will make the market more competitive. It will give access of our Western partners to the Ukrainian market, and we do hope it will be a very important moment for the development of the energy sector in our country. 2023, the system of the waste trade will be more and more providing requirements from the European partners to bring this system of the waste trade, the environmental taxation and all of the components of our process and the green course of Europe, which of course we support in Ukraine. Those components will emerge in our market in 2023, as I think, and the further accomplishment of the national plan on waste reduction is a very important obligation Ukraine took. They are rather severe, they claim huge financial investments, and I consider that there should be the dialogue within, and the internal dialogue and the proper balance between the financial investments, the today's level of the development of technologies, and social implications as for those requirements compliance, because such an amount of investments will be impacting the price of the electrical energy. So I'm very happy that we have an ongoing dialogue with the ministries and our European partners how to provide proper decisions for Ukraine to achieve the obligations which I mentioned above and which the President of Ukraine has mentioned about the reduction of the waste.